All right, here we go again. Buckle up. So again, my body is releasing now a combination of all the treatment, and I haven't even received the steroid. All right. Probably no reason to call it off, but I would have rather done a little lighter trigger points or something. Right. But we'll go with this. So I think what happened is after I had that thing happen in Naples, the treatment along with some physical activity um, got the back in a condition where it would support normal use, the body. What's happened now is my left side is a little weak, and the like I have a compromised sciatic nerve on the right side, the left side, but the left side upper back and it's just it goes from too tight to loose. Right side, I'm getting it to get to where it needs to be. It probably could be a little looser, but not much. So what I got to do is somehow get the left side to firm up. When I woke up this morning, it wasn't too tight. It wasn't pulling on my neck or my head, and it was fine. And my both legs were kind of, even. Right. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Larry. I'm not sure what all that means in the larger picture as far as what's going on, but it could be that it's just too weak. Right. And once I, maybe do some like back rows and other stuff, I was trying to get to that the last go round before all this craziness happened. Right. Well, again, it's a matter of them blocking stuff. That crystal star and flamma, whatever it is, flamma relief, I think it's called. That's pretty good stuff. Right. And I should have had that last time I was like 5 years ago. I should have been able to order that because it's something I use. I couldn't see anything. Again, that's them and combination of their metaphysical, psychological, and physical criminal presence. They're just criminals and devils. Sorry. Yeah, it doesn't look like the Trump plane's going to work too good. I didn't think it would. It's just they're going to have to go through every square inch of that thing. I mean, they have to do it to retrofit it and all that, but right, it even just you have to know everything, and you still don't know. I guess if you change it, the one theory I have is that they could actually create an antenna within a device by positioning parts in a certain order, and then hit like a passive antenna or something like that, and then hitting it with some sort of energy, right? And then connecting in, right? So that's a lot of space to have to look for some sort of antenna, right? Like, Air Force One is built, I believe it's built, and you might want to look at that and make sure in a, top secret environment, or at least a secret environment, right? Thanks, Larry. Move them out of the way. Them. I'm out for a short walk. I gotta keep pushing a bit. Yeah, had a massage yesterday. I tried to explain it to him, but he probably didn't realize what I was saying. I think, well, they're just like they're not working on balancing the sides or loosening both sides in a massage. How you doing? In a massage, so balancing is a little different. You actually have to think your way through it a little bit more. Right. Well, I tried to explain to him that the left side was looser than the right. And when you massage it, you actually have to spend more time on the right and less time on the left. All right. Like I could probably walk in there and just get a right side massage. At least the upper parts do it. Again, so what was happening is cranial tissues were tightening, and that was tightening the neck, and then it just went all the way down, right, on the right side. And then that was killing the left side. Now I don't know for sure how it's working, but we'll see. Well, the cervical epidural is designed to calm the nerves in that upper region, and maybe that's what needs to happen, and then maybe it'll, kind of neutralize it. And you do take care. So the right side was kind of tight, correct? So as that loosens, it needs less and less massage and things. Yeah, the weird part is, like, I never went back on anti-inflammatories because the doctor told me not to use aspirin. If I thought it would work, I might have actually used it, but I was using like Motrin and Aleve, and that wasn't working. So the only thing that works is this, or maybe it's not just the aspirin, maybe it's the whole inflamma relief thing, the supplement. I just never even came to mind to purchase it. Never came to mind. And he may have directly cursed it away. I don't know. I purchased it before on Amazon, I think, or at the stores. I can't remember. So that's definitely working. But then again, that left side being too loose keeps coming up. And it might be that the right side isn't fully released yet either. Right. But things are starting to go back to where they were as far as, cranial tissues and other things, but not 100% yet. Yeah, I mean, it might be that it was a cervical disc the whole time. And I brought that up, but getting somewhere while doing this is impossible. Right. There's no lesson to learn. I mean, they're not that type of people. They're just killing someone for a murder contract, but it's mostly psychological. But again, there's physical blocks in the life. All right. How you doing? Good morning. I'm sure it's a large number of people that are involved in that type of thing, but I don't think they all know what it is, especially initially. Correct. And then once you're in too deep, you're in too deep, Right. There's a lot of pushback as far as getting this walk in this morning. I got plenty of time before my appointments. Pretty steep upgrade right here. How you doing? So what happened when I was in Naples is I went to massage therapy because I was getting tight. And then the massage therapist said, you need to see a doctor because, this is too tight. So you stay in massage therapy, you get that kind of feedback. Right. Unfortunately, the doctor I went to in Naples was the wrong guy. Right. I told him, look, I'm too tight. I don't think I need to exercise more. At a certain point, you do, but you got to get it released first. And that's a major mistake that I understand a lot of those type of people make. Like here, I just received a blip. Like a couple young girls, I don't know how old they are, maybe like 16 to 21, maybe both ages. I don't know, it was two girls. So they just passed me going the other direction. And things like usually you just like don't even think about it. You're like, oh, I'm going to turn around and just because I've had enough. That's it. I'm going back. Right. But if the deep state picks up on that and sees that, they'll like just say whatever the worst case scenario is. Oh, see, he's stalking them there. He spun around after they passed. Right. And of course, being false. Right. Well, the Lord will show me what is happening at times so I can explain it. And I have explained it. And like I told him, stop. Because if you break my body to a certain point, if you make me sick to a certain point, there's no way back for all of you. Correct? Because you can't correct what's wrong. No, it's not normal aging. It's 100% sure. Correct. It's not even a normal treatment. I mean, because you just get in the middle of everything. If I could have continued on somewhere, and that was my plan, if I remember correctly, it was just go back to Oklahoma for the minute, and you just try to regroup because it was we're going to pay. Because I don't think I was going to plan was to move in. The plan was to simply stay at a hotel or extended stay, should I say? And they're much cheaper in Oklahoma than say Denver. So I was in Denver, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to stay here. How you doing? I was like, I'll go to the extended stay in Oklahoma, and then I'll figure out what I want to do. Right. I mean, it's a lot cheaper. It was like, it went up to, and again, it's kind of weird. I move in, it's like 1,200, and next it's 1,600. Go back to Oklahoma, it's like 1,100. Right. Or less. I mean, it's under 1,100, I think. Oh, thanks, Larry. A month. But somewhere along the way, the idea to move in popped up, and I don't think that was my plan. Like on the like in my development, when I walk around like this, they try to make a big deal of it. I got an LBE on, but I got a phone. I'm broadcasting. They know that, right? But they just jerks, and they want to lie about a situation. So when I'm out here on the trail, it's kind of situation normal. I guess that's not the way to say it, but it's normal, right? Well, because I mean, not everybody's dressed like this, but you can run into somebody that's dressed like this on the trail, right? Hiking, it's kind of like hiking gear, right? So, well, the LBE is pretty good. You don't have to worry about any of your gear. You put the LBE on, load-bearing equipment. I got my pouches here for my IDs, my keys, right? There's a lot of people probably out here without their ID. I'll tell you that, right? And it's never a good thing to do that. Never a good thing to leave your phone behind, right? Well, a lot of things are will. So a lot of people are, quite honestly, it's like a possession. But again, I don't want to draw an inference one way or the other as far as negative or positive or good or evil or anything like that. How you doing? Agreed, Larry. But like people are a little gay. It just happens. Could be an adult attracted to a younger person. That's why in this age, my information was supposed to be put out there where just make parameters where you can't do that. Right? If you have some sort of sexual desire, you can't alter a 15-year-old into a gay boy toy, right? Because they're projecting that. It's a multiple projection. So the person that may have that thought is being projected at to be like a pedophile, and then they're willing some young person to be sexual or gay or something like that, right? And it may just be a fantasy, right? What do you call those maps? Well, the thing tries to convince you you're a map, you're a pedophile. And maybe it's just their whammy the way it's, because again, I have some protection to read it versus it happening, right? So I know it's happening. So the Lord shows it to me, so I know it's happening. The other people, I mean, this is the weird part. I wouldn't have to know that at that level if the world wasn't the way it was, you see, right? So it's not like I had to know that, like I had to be this to know that or have that happen to know that, right? Which means I don't have to see as much, right, if the world isn't this bad, right? Now, there's a lot of people that are pedophiles and they get away with it. I mean, there's no doubt, right? Like that one guy, he had been a pedophile and he's out there pedophile hunting with two young girls who at that point were what, 18 or something and 19, but they, if you go back a few years, he was probably having sex with them when they were 15, right? So again, my theory is that they take people such as that, correct, Larry, and then they blackmail them, extort them like silently, secret society, and then you become part of it, right? Oh my God. So again, his secret is safe with them as long as he does what they want. Thank you, Larry. And again, personally, I'm not there to say everybody needs to go to jail to ever commit a crime. Again, it's up to God. It's up, if you have a system, it's up to your system. I'm just here to explain everything. In fact, some people that have committed crimes are probably victims of others that committed crimes against them, wanting them to commit the crime. Like a psychological manipulation at a very high level, where it would be considered a criminal activity. Now, I caught my disability and I'd have been fine. They just needed to stay away from me, right? Right. So I knew that I needed to get first the massage, and then I eased myself into helping in the seat kitchen and stuff like that. And that was like a gym because you're lifting things and moving and right, a lot of activity. Now I saw no evidence of a sex cult, I guess, but I did see evidence, or I heard evidence of sexual impropriety. But that was mostly a different location. But then that person came there, and somebody young was having "quote unquote" a relationship. But I've already spoke with a yoga girl. That's a girl I thought I was supposed to, maybe I should have maybe tried to marry, date and marry back then. When working in that store in Miami, right? But I was just trying to get safe. I really wasn't thinking much of anything else back then, right? Thank you, Larry. But she told me, she had come back from California. She had been out to California for a while. I don't know when, what her travels were when you get that in depth. But, she had all those gurus and stuff. They're having sex with young girls, right? So she told me what the deal was. Right. And I wasn't, I wasn't going there to seek people. I was going there to, really be part of the community. But it was evident that that wasn't going to be allowed. Right? No matter, I understand some people might be innocent, but again, that overall energy is never going to let it get normal. Right. So that's a big issue. Well, it was just a woman. Okay, so the guy is a younger guy, and he's having sex with her, but he explains to me that the woman, young, 24, 25, I guess, was out in Virginia, and some of the bosses out there took advantage of her. A boss, I don't know the full story, so I'm not going to tell you I do, but it definitely was that. So they're trying to, I think they're trying to fix what's broken. She gets a place to stay with one of the big leaders, right? So, and the weird part is they say too old to me, and I'm just what well, I don't even remember how I met her. To tell you the truth, or maybe she introduced herself to me or something, right? Because I'm not out there trying to do anything, right? I'm just trying to help people. And then one day, like the only woman I actually went on a kind of semi date was, I wouldn't say it was a date. She was older. I don't even know, she was like 40 or something, I guess, right? Even older. I saw her. I remembered her from the first winter solstice. She was one of the Kundalini instructors, I guess. Right. Now, she apparently in that time period had gone off and married some dude and it went bad, like in the UK. Now, I wasn't a big money man, so I don't know if she'd ever really ever been interested in me. But again, back then, she had a really bad birthmark. It was a mole kind of thing. It was big. Back in the beginning, it wasn't that big. And I probably, if you ask me, we were supposed to be together. And then I would have took care of that for her. I would have got that taken care of. Thank you. That's come up with Filipino people that have moles and things like that. Right. It's just weird. It just comes up inside. So yeah, we'll take care of that. If my medical, or we'll get money to figure it out. Right. Thank you, Larry. But so right, to keep her from having that issue in that marriage. Oh, they're trying to like make me nervous about the procedure and everything. It's crazy. All right, now they're up. The evil's up. And maybe there's additional people stalking me. I don't know. Again, the closer you get to church, the more they kill you. And no, it's not a matter of pushing through. All right. They'll never let it sit. They'll just try to bring more bosses in to pay more money. No, they have a number of people they want to kill, and then to finance it, sometimes they'll go to the bosses and say, "Oh, we got to take this guy out. He's a danger to us and our community," or something like that, right? Meanwhile, the people that are really a danger are living great lives. Thanks, sir. And they'll come in like they're special investigators and but they're BS. They're just grifters, right? And even if they're federal agents or cops, they're grifters. And they get the cops, and they have authority. So move in a community, they'll say nothing. You get nothing. You get nowhere. Right. Right. So the people that will people to be pedophiles could be other pedophiles, could be cops. Right. and they'll use the sexuality, they're given sexuality, whether it's a woman or a man, and they'll inject that feeling into the again, putting a sexual spell on their victim. It's what's really going on the planet. But again, then there's the fantasy where they're willing people, right, to have sexual change based upon their fantasy, right? I couldn't do that. Like, I was asleep, so I never could do that. And when I woke up, I made parameters that, I mean, it wasn't based upon that scenario, but it was based upon that type of scenario where I would will something and change something based upon my own will. But if they possess you, I guess maybe you could do it. The Lord says I can't do it because I'm subservient to the Lord. But, well, if you possess me, I might go outside where the Lord wants me, but it's not my fault, and I'm not, I'm not going to be judged for it. Yeah, there are operations. I was 100% possession of another person and pushing them into crime and sexual, different types of sexuality. It's a much better route to walk. No, they're projecting the idea of calamity. Trying to panic their victim, and they're doing that to me. Right? So when they feel the panic, then they look for some type of relief from the panic. I mean, they know all this, right? They're sick people, man. So, like I told you before, I've said for years that they wire their victim to seek relief, and I guess it's like they create sexual addiction. They're creating sexual addiction, and they use that to try to addict them to some sort of illegal sexuality, or I guess a sex crime, something like that, right? And that's why I was saying the stuff that was on X, that you have to be careful, because even though you believe it's not a crime per se, because it's just theater or whatever, but it's representing a sexual crime, right? Well, they panic every so often themselves, and then they just try to destroy their victim even more. You don't have to say anything. It could just be the world changes a certain way. Then they get nervous that they're going to get found out. Nah, they weren't supposed to be on that. See, that's them. Oh my God, they're trying to get me to say that. You let them wire it to me. What do you think's going to happen? Most people would go to prison before they sit in somebody's life that long. 100%. Thank you, Larry. She needs to be moved away. They need to move away, because it's not just the she, but there is the she, I guess, because that's what the thing says. Right. They turn out to be animals in the end. You know what I mean? They're not really helping anyone. They're helping themselves to the world and playing that game, that demonic Satan game. So one of the things they're trying now is when I say she, they try to say, like, it'll come up and then it'll be somebody saying, oh, it's her over there. It's like, so they're trying to get me to act out against some woman somewhere. By saying, that's the she right there. Right. Like my neighbor or something like that. I'm like, get out of here. They're just psycho people, man. Looking for an excuse to make $1 million for harming other people. I mean, that's really who they are. If there's some poor cop working some 9 to 5, one day they'll be paid millions for it. That's just how that works. Right. Most cops are corrupt, don't even need their retirement. It's like chump change. Right. Again, it does sometimes have insurance and stuff linked to it, so that's a nice benefit. It could be. Like, do you think somebody physically manipulated with intention the ashwagandha? Possibly. I don't know. Anything's possible. World's absolutely corrupt. If they find that something simple over the counter fights their psychological torture, then of course they might adulterate it. Correct. Not above it, that's for sure. Thank you, Larry. Thanks, Larry. How long we got here? It's definitely, with this heat and the route I'm using, it's definitely much more exercise in a shorter period of time. Right. Thanks, Larry. Whew. Last uphill. Well, it's not too bad out here. If I had my health, I'd be loving it. Right. I'd probably be on my bicycle. That's all I was doing. I was riding my bicycle, and again, they'll say that's dangerous because, we can't watch him, and it's difficult to watch him, and he might attack somebody. I mean, it's bullshit, right? No, if they stayed away, I'd have had a normal life. Normal life, it just would have been a normal life, and they knew it. I've seen it before. Right. If they stay away, the person has a normal life. They go back to normal life. Right. It's a gorgeous looking house, but it needs to be steam cleaned. Right. That's possible. So I'm saying, like, the Chinese people that left, they might be actually, they may have left because they overstayed. Right? And they may have sold the place and got out of here. And that, if they're spies or something like that, that would happen. Right? 100%. China would recall them so they won't be exposed or have to go through that system. I'm going to have to take my supplement with me to the doctor's because, I can't explain everything that's in there. Right. Maybe I'll print it out so they know what I'm on. Right. Whew. Wow. That was a good one. They used to just bring women from everywhere to try to attract me. And, not all of them were young, but they weren't older, that's for sure. So, really good looking women, man. I wasn't trying to hit on them or anything. I just, I don't even think I spoke to any woman in depth about anything, or young woman. Right. Except for maybe that one woman I spoke about with the Sikhs. Thanks, man. Whew. Oh, well. I got the welcome packet from the law firm months later. No idea what went on there. After this procedure, I have to start working on that. I wonder if AI can help me with it. Possibly, huh?